Welcome to the PlayRatedGames podcast, episode 2. We last time we talked about our early childhood gaming memories as much as we could. We're gonna start making these podcasts a little bit longer on the next episode, but this will be the last time we do this probably over Zoom, at least for this foreseeable future, because we couldn't meet up tonight. But now since we're both in the same state, it'll be a lot easier for us to do these in person. We can go on for much longer. But, um, Phil,
Yes.
we talked earlier, today about our segments or our little talking segments or our topic today. And you said we should do what was it like gaming series that have fluctuated in quality?
Basically, just the quality of a game series from title to title, whether it got better, got worse, or fluctuated.
Like whether it like hit a peak and then nosedived or like whether
Just just
yeah,
all across the board. Just like whether or
okay.
not a game series started out really well, dipped, got really good again, or just was good and went to great, or was good and went to shit, all across the board.
Okay. Yeah, I mean there's just man, there's so many you can think of, but you go first.
Okay, so what would you like? What quality range would you like to talk first? That it just went from good to great or good to okay? Where do you want to start?
Um I just want to make sure like okay, I got a little timer on the top left, so it tells us how long we got. Um all right. So I pulled this up on chat. So it said there's five different segments to this. There's the classic glow up to glow down. The you know what? Let's just I won't even spoil. Let's start out with glow up to glow down. So, for example, a series that started off either decent or very, very strong, and then just swan dived into oblivion.
Okay. So in a weird, all right, so in a way you could almost put this into two categories. So if you're including all across the board, Crash and Spyro, like the original PlayStation games are some of the best I've ever played.
Yeah.
But then once they changed developers, they just went into a complete nosedive.
Yeah, I would
Like
say with like any not necessarily I would say like any Rareware title too. Like not necessarily like the series, but I mean, yeah, you could Banjo-Kazooie absolutely took an L with fucking we don't talk about nuts and bolts.
actually, no, no, for this we will. I need so here's the thing. I've only ever played the first one.
Okay.
So is the second one a worthy follow-up? Is it just
Yeah,
as
yeah. So
better?
I Banjo-Kazooie is my favorite game of all time.
No
Um,
doubt.
and it's eh, no game is without its faults, but overall, it's just that game. It means the same to me as like Oddworld does to you.
Mhm.
And Banjo-Tooie is a phenomenal sequel. It's really good. It's I can nitpick it a little more than the first one, but it's still like a really solid, worthy follow-up. And then Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is not only dog shit, it's just like insulting.
So, but like, what is Banjo Tooie? Is it just as good, if not better, or is it, or is the first one better?
I like the first one better. There's things you could argue that Banjo-Tooie improves on because like generally a sequel can refine itself and like, oh, this feels a little better the way this plays. The mechanics are a little bit less rough around the edges, but overall, like it's kind of like with BioShock where it's like BioShock 2 might feel better gameplay wise, but
Mhm.
I just BioShock 1 just it hits every nail or whatever. Like whatever that
Well,
saying is.
in at the time it did. There's things about Bioshock One I can nitpick. So basically,
Yeah,
t-
yeah, of course.
but for Banjo, so would you say that it's kind of a, you know, maybe it wasn't immediate, but it was definitely a drop off. Like it went from great to really good to shit.
No, I'd even say it was great for Banjo-Tooie, and then just Banjo Nuts and Bolts was like you're not even. Well, it's just like that old JonTron video where he theorized that. It was originally going to be Banjo 3 or whatever they were actually going to call it. Like Banjo 3, I always thought was a stupid fucking name, but Banjo 3. I think Banjo Nuts and Bolts was gonna be, I agree with them. Like I think they were building that game. You can see it. Because the level design, like some of it's pretty solid, and then they're just like, nah, let's just turn it into, making Lego cars, and
Okay, but
it's just
like
like,
basically what I'm trying to ask is that like for example, let's say that if you were to rate them like, like how those charts where there's like, red lines to signify its quality.
yeah,
So Banjo 1 is the highest, Banjo 2 second, and then dead last is Nuts and Bolts.
absolutely,
So
yeah.
then yeah, it's even though it wasn't an immediate drop off, it still dropped off. So that's a series that got worse with each, even though Banjo Tooie is a great one, even if it what like it still seems like it wasn't superior to the first one
It's
very
like when you
easily.
win, it's like when you finish one of the Mario Kart circuits and they have like the top three racers. Like you got Banjo-Kazooie in the gold top spot, you got Banjo-Tooie in the silver spot, and then Banjo Nuts and Bolts isn't even worthy of sitting of like
Yeah.
being in the bronze area.
So
It's fucking
so we'll put Banjo in the in the decline section where each one declined. Even though the second one's still good, it still dropped off, and then the third game just fell off completely.
well, yeah, it's like, was it from burnout or was it like it clearly wasn't from like milking the franchise. It was just kind of like, what do you do? Like, you
I
guys just
I
don't give a shit anymore.
here's the thing. I'm not the biggest Rare fan, but I just have a theory that maybe it was just a change in management. Like,
Yeah.
was the original team even there at that point?
I honestly got to go back. All I know is I was just so hurt at the time.
Okay, so we're in agreement on that. Basically, Banjo, it fell off. It, like it got worse with each one.
Yeah,
So,
man, it felt hard.
Bioshock, that's a flux. Here's the thing. I actually really like Bioshock too, but
Oh, I like it too.
it's universally regarded as like the weakest in the series.
Well, because they're all so fucking good. Like, but BioShock is definitely, like BioShock 2 would be in that Mario Kart third place, but it's still really, it does a lot of things really good. Like you being able to use the powers, the plasmids or whatever you call it,
Yeah,
and the
like they fixed the
guns.
gameplay, but it to them, I guess to whoever, it just wasn't enough to really warrant because like I feel like they just felt like it felt the seeing as it was the same location, it just felt too samey. They feel like just the
Yeah.
gameplay enough wasn't enough to really reignite any interest. But
Yeah,
I would still say
they kept going back to Rapture, and I'm like, guys, like Rapture is like one of the greatest settings in any game. Like just let it be. Like you did what you were trying to say in the first game. Like just leave
yeah.
it be. But
So
BioShock 2 had a really good DLC though, that Minerva or whatever.
yeah. So I would say Bioshock. That's a fluctuating series where like it
Yeah.
went from fantastic to good to pretty damn good again. But well, here's the thing though. So I really like the first one, even though it's. I mean, the game's almost 20 years old. It came out in 2007, right?
Jeez. Yeah, I think you're right.
So I mean, again, it's like any game's going to show its age, but I would say that what really upsets me is that like if we call it, if Bioshock Infinite like had the gameplay of two, where you could like actually does it have? It's been a while. Can you do both or no?
BioShock Infinite multiplayer.
No, no. Can you do the shooting and the plasmids at the same time or no? I don't recall.
Oh man, no. Wait. In BioShock Infinite, yeah. Yeah, you can, right?
Okay. Well, that's good, but here's the one thing that really annoyed me: the fact you can only carry two weapons at a time. That I felt was a huge. That's actually one of the things I was most annoyed with that game because it's such a good game. It looks nice, it plays real well, but just the fact you can only pick up two weapons at a time is just such a step
Yeah, I don't
backwards.
know why they did that. I never understood that. It doesn't really bug me too much, but playing them back to back, it was like, why can I only carry two now? Why
It
can't I be
just
like Doom
yeah
Guy again?
yeah. So I would say that Bioshock one, even for its aging, for the stuff that ages it, it's still at least a 9.5, not a 10. I would say two is
I
like
would
an
say it's 10.
8.5, and I would say not. I would say Infinite's a 9.
Yeah, for it would be literally like 10, 8, 9 for me. Or if
Yeah,
I had to pick, I actually play rate them.
Actually, real quick, actually, we what would you give Banjo 1, 2, and Bolt's like
Ten,
number
nine,
wise?
3.
Okay, so let's be sure to do that. Let's be sure to give like every time we talk about a
We
series,
gotta
let's act.
play rate them all.
Yes, let's play rate them all. Corny as
Well,
fuck.
like
So
Assassin's Creed, it's like I haven't played all of them because there's like a fucking zillion of them now, but uh
just the ones that we
that's
have played.
that's definitely a series that has I would say Assassin's Creed, it's obviously well past its prime. It started out, the first game at the time was good. It's very dated in terms of just like comparing it to the newer games or even like the Ezio games, I would say, which is the peak of that series. And then there's Assassin's Creed 3, which was the one that took place in like the Americas, which I thought was really cool. A lot of people were kind of sour on it, but I really liked Assassin's Creed 3. I really liked playing as the switching between the dad and the son, and it's like he ended up being, spoiler alert, the he's a Templar and the son, just that whole dynamic was interesting to me. I like the story in it, and I like the colonial America setting. So, and then obviously Black Flag is like considered one of the best in the series too. But then I think the games after that were the one in France, where it was like Unity, and I think they patched it, but initially, like when it came out, it was a total glitch bucket. And they had like two Assassin's Creed games come out on the same day. It was like Rogue and Unity, and neither of them were particularly good. But then, and then people at that point were like, okay, you're really beating this dead horse. And at that point, they had already killed off Desmond, and they completely abandoned the original concept. I wrote about this in one of my Assassin's Creed articles about like the original plan for the series, so I won't go too into that. But um, then they came out with the one in London, Syndicate, and I played that one, and I actually enjoyed it a decent amount. I like the two playing as the two twins, the brother and the sister. Like that was pretty fun. And then I think that was probably like the last one I really enjoyed. And everything after that was just very like RPG heavy and like not what Assassin's Creed was. And just man, they were churning them out like annually or even more, like to
It just became
double annual.
very by the numbers, very conveyor belt, very
It's
cookie
very
cutter.
control pay, like control C, control V, like Ubisoft was doing with just Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, fucking any of those, you know, just like give us Splinter Cell back. That's a good fucking series, and don't ruin it. But um, what were we talking about? Like series that have fluctuated? Because I like one that has just totally taken a swan dive, and I could do a whole podcast on this is Halo. But that,
It
you
no,
know,
like it's basically just the quality, like a franchise's quality throughout, whether it whether it like excels, declines, or fluctuates like that.
yeah. Well, Halo definitely. Halo 1, 2, and 3, and Reach, and ODST, all the Bungie games, phenomenal, peak. And then Halo 4 was just bad, I think. And then Halo 5 is just a fucking disgrace. And then Halo
Well,
Infinite was just like you tried, you tried to put the pieces back together and like I'll give you credit, the gameplay was definitely an improvement and it's definitely the best of the 343 Halo games, but the story and the worlds in Halo Infinite is just so fucking repetitive and it's so forgettable.
what
Like
would you rate all the Halo games that you've played?
I don't even know, man. They're just so like that's childhood right there, man. It's just like rating Halo 1, 2, and 3. It's like I want to just give them all tens. They're all just so and Reach. I love Reach.
So
Um,
rate them, play rate them.
I'm gonna play rate them all. Fucking like campaign online, like everything.
It's all across the board.
I would say Halo 1, I'll give it a 9 just because there are parts of it that like the library level, even Bungie will go and admit like, yeah, this level sucks ass. It goes on way too long. It's too frustrating. It's not very well designed and they could easily chop that level in half. But everything else across the board, Halo is like just artistic direction, character, story, the lore of Halo, like The Marty O'Donnell, the music, just the soundtrack is just phenomenal. It's all just hitting on all cylinders. And so I'd say Halo 1 in retrospect is a 9, Halo 2 is a 10, and Halo 3 is a 10 just because um Halo 2's story is phenomenal. Halo 3's campaign was I think it could have been a little longer, but overall what we got was still great and a really solid conclusion to the trilogy.
Mhm.
Um And then Halo Reach is really good too. I mean, it's basically like Star Wars Rogue One uh of the Halo story. It's a prequel. I know you haven't really played the Halo games yet, but yeah, no, ever since, 343 or Halo Studios, which is the I'm not gonna go too much into a rant right now, but what a stupid fucking name.
Of course.
Um, but it's the same people. Halo
I know.
Studios, they just changed the name.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, here's I'm gonna split into two. We talked about. So I'm just gonna go with the original Naughty Dog Crash Bandicoot games. Like, to me, that's its own series. The games that came after,
Yeah, absolutely. Like Crash Twisted or Twistan. What was it called?
for
Crash
insanity.
Bash.
Yeah, no, those games were, yeah. So the original, what do you call it? The original, I guess, quadrilogy, because if you want to Crash Team Racing. So to me, like just the original trilogy, phenomenal. Like it starts at, easily that's a game that went from good to great to
Yeah.
freaking excellent. Like the first game, it's a solid enough introduction to the character. I mean, like again, they were, it was their first PlayStation. It was their first PlayStation game, right?
Yeah, that was their first. Like the Naughty Dog games before Crash were basically like
They
they
weren't that.
they were kind of shit. Like they were like
So
what was it
this
like
was actually the,
Rise of the War or Way of the
yeah,
Warrior?
Rings of Power, but like Crash
Yeah,
Bandicoot,
they're all pretty bad.
this was their first big hit, but even still, like it was a bit of, it was a little rocky, but still good.
Yeah,
It was
Crash 1 is like still like if that's their weakest game overall in their lineup, like you're in good hands with Naughty Dog there.
so yeah. Crash One, a solid but slightly shaky start. Crash Two, just everything about it was just like they just improved everything about it. The way Crash
Yeah.
moves, his move set, it looks crisper. It plays better. Like Crash Two is just such a it's such a good sequel. And then Crash Three, in my opinion, Crash Three is just the apex of the series. It's the best. It's the best
Yeah,
in the
I
series.
think they just keep getting better. Like that's how Naughty Dog is with most of their series. Like Jack and Daxter, and people can argue this one way or the other, but like I love Crash. I love all the Naughty Dog series, and I wouldn't say it's not with The Last of Us, but I won't get into The Last of Us. Fucking but like Uncharted, Jack and Daxter, like the first games are good, but they're usually still like in retrospect, it's like, okay, this is technically the weakest one because we were just getting our footing.
Yeah,
Um, I love Jack 1, Jack and Daxter Precursor Legacy, but
I like
I
that game.
I think they get better with each iteration. And Jack 2 has that horrible checkpoint system, and then Jack 3 did away with that, so it just felt like such a breeze afterwards. But it's still a great game.
Yeah. But what I would say, so Crash, the original trilogy, would be a 7, 9, and 10. Like it just the original trilogy just got better and better
And
with
what
each
about
one.
Crash Team Racing?
Crash Team Racing, should we really include it?
Hell yeah. It's a Naughty Dog Crash game.
It's a 10. I love Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, you turned me on to that one. I didn't actually play that one much of it as a kid. I was too busy playing snowboard kids.
But real quick though, so yeah, so it would be 7, 9, 10, 10. And quick shout out, like I know it's not the original Naughty Dog quadrilogy, but Crash 4 was a really worthy update. I'd say that game's at least a 9.
Absolutely. And
So
hopefully we get Crash 5.
if we're including Crash 4, then it's then it does fluctuate. If it's just the original Naughty Dog games, just straight up to the top.
I would say yeah, Crash 4 like the It's About Time is the only like the one I would include. Like it's part of the same series even though it's a new developer.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Um I
same
just hope we get that Crash and Spyro
yes.
crossover thing.
good segment. The like I'm just including the original Spyro trilogy, all those games that came after. Just that's my banjo nuts and bolts. To me, they just don't exist because I never even bothered playing them. But the original Insomniac trilogy was just it was magnificent. Like that game series just captured my imagination like no other when I was a kid. Like just the world, the creatures that inhabited it, the music by Stuart Copeland. Just it's such a great game series. Like the first one, like Crash One, is again a solid but shaky start. They were still figuring out like how to make a move, how it plays. But it was still a fun, charming game. Like it had really nice music, it had fun, quirky characters.
Yeah. Another it says the comeback kids, franchises that have made a killer return after a rough patch, and one of the examples given is Resident Evil 7, obviously, like after
Hold that thought. Hold
after
that thought.
6.
Yes, hold that thought. So let me just finish with Spyro. So Spyro One, like Crash One, a solid but shaky start. Spyro Two, in my opinion, and I'm sure many would agree, it's the best in the series. I feel like
Yeah.
it ironed out all the kinks. It expanded the world. It gave more characters to interact with. It made the world feel more lived in. The design of the characters is much more varied. The soundtrack is just awesome, and it
Yeah.
just plays better. Like it plays way more smooth, and I just feel like the pacing is better too.
Ripto's Rage is one of the best 3D platformers ever,
Yes,
or 3D
and
mascot platformers, whatever.
using Spyro 3 is a really good sequel, but I feel like it bit off more than it could chew.
I think yeah, it's still like, I mean, if we're gonna do the 10 out of 10 scale, it's say it's still like a 9, Year of the
I,
Dragon.
no, I would agree too, but it's just like the abundance of playable characters,
Yeah.
and not all of them played equally as fun. People would argue. Like I actually kind of like just because I like Yetis. I like playing as the Yeti, but a lot of people didn't. The flying mechanics for the Penguin were a little awkward. Sheila was
Oh,
fun.
that was shit. Or the races. That was in the third one, right?
I think there's races in the. Is there races in the second
What was
one?
that flying like you're flying the plane or whatever
Oh, like the what do you call it? The speedways.
through the rings, I think.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That was terrible.
yeah. But
I didn't like that at all.
yeah. My biggest. So those are my biggest complaints with. And
I like
also, I
the
mean,
skateboarding though.
maybe this is a bit of a nitpick, but one problem I have with the third game is what the first game also is like all the enemies were just kind of variations of each other. Like in the first games, they're all Norks, like all these green troll looking things. And this third one, they're 98% of the time they're Rhinox, like these rhino looking things.
Yeah.
It's just like, it didn't have that variety that the second one did. Like in Spyro 2, for the exception of the ones like, with the Earthshapers and Fawns, like each level was you never knew what you were going to get. You get like giant lizards in one level. You get like Arabian style chic creatures in another one.
It's a different motif in every world.
Yeah, or like these weird looking electric ant people. Like each world had something unique to offer.
Yeah, it was just this weird like monstrosity of every. Yeah, no, it was cool. I know what you mean.
Or like the
It had
beast.
more originality.
Yeah. So and also like I know the third game has more bosses, and I would say that the bosses are they're cool, but they're not as memorable. Like I really feel like Spyro 2 had the most memorable bosses, like Crush, Gulp,
I
and Rip.
love the Ripto fight. I think it's
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
yeah. So like, even
Yeah,
though there's
like that.
less bosses in the second game, I feel like they're more memorable.
Yeah, Ripto is it's just like it's such like a fun, well-designed boss too.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's
Like,
it has the operatics, it has that real grandiose epic feel to it.
yeah, like more than it even needs to be, but it's awesome. And then
Yeah, so
compared to Spyro 1's bosses, yeah, like
Spyro One's bosses were just they weren't that good.
they're
I mean,
just
again,
so
like they're
baby bitch easy.
it's just like and also like they're not even memorable. Like
No, like what was that first one where you're just running around chasing the dude?
uh,
I don't remember.
it's
I played the reignited
some scarecrow. It's like a sheep in a scarecrow costume.
I don't think they were putting too much of their resources into the boss fights at the
And
time.
and that's the thing that's interesting. So like Crash 2 and 3, I'm pretty sure I can name each boss in each one.
Yeah.
And so Crush, Gulp, and Ripto, that's easy. The second one. In the third game, it's Buzz, Spike, the Sorceress. There's a Rhinoc Wizard in one of the levels, I forget. No, yeah, there was, but he's just called like the wizard. And oh man, what was that big bat one called? Oh, I'm trying to remember.
That
The
was in
big
two.
No, that was in three. There was this big bat one.
You would know better than me, man. I only played through them each once, but I platinumed them all, but and I had a great time. But um, like I said, I didn't have a PS1 as a kid. Like I knew of Spyro. I just that wasn't
Scorch. His name was Scorch.
my home jam.
Okay, so
Scorch.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like two and three's bosses were memorable, and you'll actually remember them by name. The first game, I couldn't tell you. Like I remember
I only
there's
remember that last one a little bit, and I
yeah,
was
and
like,
also
wait, that was the final boss.
actually no, not to mention like the final bosses, they're kind of whatever, and like they look all right, but they're not challenging or fun. Like Nasty Nork, you just run after and chase them. That's it.
Well, another thing about Spyro, I mean, you could say it was like that in the first game, but just it's fu a good philosophy towards game design that Insomniac had is that it's fun to just fuck around and play as Spyro, like that hub world that they have in Spyro 2 with the castle. It's just fun to just run around, even if you're just wandering aimlessly. Like, kind of like in Mario 64, like you're running around the castle and you're just, you do just or Mario Sunshine, the Delfino Plaza, where you're just, dicking around and hopping around buildings and just trying to get a feel for the character and I don't know, just it's y- make your game fun first and foremost. Make your playable character enjoyable and f feel good in your hands.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Or what-
good
Yeah,
point.
whatever.
So
Oh, no.
if I were to rate the Spyro games, it would be 7, 10, 9. So that's a game that fluctuates.
Yeah, I would definitely say Ripto is a 10.
Yeah,
Another a game series that's just wildly like most of it's awesome, I'd say, but it's like what the hell was that is definitely Devil May Cry. I mean, 2 is objectively the worst one. Devil May Cry 2 is honestly one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. It's like Devil May Cry 1 is a really cool foundation and it's got obviously got a lot of like old school Resident Evil uh because I think that's what it was going to be, right? Resident Evil 4 or something like that. But yeah, Devil May Cry 1, I think even for its age, like it's still a solid game and I really like the castle island setting. But then Devil May Cry 2 comes along and it's like all of the personality and charm of Dante is gone. The story like is so there is no story, I don't think. Like the main villain in that game is just this generic mustache twirling, you know, take over the world. Like it's every boss fight sucks. And then like in classic Devil May Cry boss rush Capcom fashion, towards the end, you got to do a boss rush, which I'm not always the biggest fan of, but it's like you got to do it again. And then the final boss, and it's just this giant amalgamation of every boss that you've fought up to then, but they all suck anyway. And it's just like, what? Dude, you can basically beat the whole game just shooting everything. It's like broken.
yeah.
It's like
Okay.
ride to hell with the kicking.
They actually had planned to make a trilogy of those games. Thank goodness that didn't happen. So
Well, Devil
with
May
that,
Cry, here's the thing. But then Devil May Cry 3 comes along, one of my favorite games of all time, 10 out of 10. That game is phenomenal. And
so
that's
that's
also you can play Devil May Cry 3 first because it is a prequel. And then uh, I think Devil May Cry 4 came out after that. And Devil May Cry 4 I think is a good game. It's not nearly as good as 3, but It's good. I liked playing as what's his name, the kid Nero, and
I
then
have no
switching
idea
over
about
to
those games.
Dante, where you do it backwards. It just felt a little like padded, sort of, but it's still good. And the soundtrack is fucking awesome in that game too. I mean, it's awesome in all of them. But then there was that spin-off thing that not a lot of people liked as much, but I liked it. I mean, for what it was silly. But the DMC Devil May Cry, which is a stupid name, but it it was still I enjoyed it. If you just don't take it too serious, which you're not supposed to in the first place, but just take it as like a non-canon, just little fun, um, you know, break from the main series. Then DMC is actually pretty solid, and then Devil May Cry 5 is awesome again. It's like great game. It's like easily a 9. So yeah, I would say 3, 5, uh, 3, 5, 4, 1. Maybe the spin-off with the cool TV boss fight, and then 2 obviously is dead last.
Okay, so all right then.
Yeah, kick-ass series. Just 2 is like you can honestly just skip it. It's that bad.
Well, all right. Well, that being said, it's
It's also really short. That's its only saving grace is that it's really it's an ugly game too. It's hideous.
okay. So basically, it's a game series that fluctuates to got it. Um, a game series that fluctuates and sad for me to say is the Oddworld game. I love
Where'd you go? You sound far away.
Oddworld. There we go. So anyway,
There he
what was I going
is.
to say? The Oddworld games are,
Oh,
you
of
know,
course.
sadly another game series that fluctuates
Yeah.
probably as well. So like the first, like
I haven't played them all yet, but yeah, I
so here's the
agree.
thing: the first game is my favorite game of all time. Is it the best in the series? Objectively, no. It's just my favorite because no other game just captivated my imagination like that one did. Like up until that point, all the games I played, not not to bash them, like Crash, Mario, Spyro, all good games, but like they're not exactly what's the word? They're they're meant to be simple and just have fun. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They're meant to be simple. They're you're just meant to have fun with them. But Oddworld really just I'd never seen anything like it. Like just this world of
Oh, you
this.
mean like you're not supposed to think about it too hard, like once you turn it off.
No, yeah, like Crash and Spyro. It's a game that you can like Crash Bar Mario. Those are games you can reminisce about. Like, oh, those levels are so much fun, but they
I
don't.
think I know what you're getting at.
But the thing is, like, they don't really have themes, like underlying themes.
Yeah, of
Like they're like
betrayal and
yeah,
oppression and yeah, like
yeah, like those games are meant to be simplistic. This was the first game I played that actually had like complex storytelling. Like I'm just looking
yeah,
at
like
this
surprisingly dark adult
this
topic.
dark dystopian alien world where an entire species is enslaved and they're
Being
going to be butchered into food for profit. I'm like,
pies.
yeah, I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's pretty morbid. I love it.
Yeah, so like the first game in terms of just sheer world building and storytelling, it like no other game at that time captured my imagination like that.
Mhm.
None. And well, here's what's crazy. Objectively, Oddworld is the hardest. Like the three games I played the most were Crash, Spyro, and Oddworld. Oddworld is objectively the hardest, but that's actually the game I beat first. I actually beat that game before I did Crash and Spyro.
Yeah, I can see like I mean I would have to spend a significant amount of time with it, but as a kid, yeah, that game could be pretty challenging. But kids are clever, you know. I figured out how to beat and do some savvy things in games as a kid. I just
Yeah.
had all the time in the world.
So, and here's the thing: Abe's Exodus, it was intended to be more of a bonus title, but to me, it's just a direct sequel. So, Abe's Exodus, which picks off right where it off, that game is probably the best in the series in terms of like just sheer polish and
Yeah,
design. Like,
that's what I've heard.
no, yeah, like that, like just all the nitpicks of the first game were fixed in this game. Like the checkpoint system in the first game was, you know, was pretty unforgiving, admittedly. Um, what do you call it? The fact that you can only talk to one Mudakin at a time to lead them to bird portals, kind of, you know, led to a lot of unnecessary backtracking. I didn't really mind it at the time, but then like when like I noticed somebody point it out, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that is true. But no, in this game, you like in Abe's Exodus, you have quick save, so you can make your own checkpoints at any time. Really good feature, and the fact that you can have as many Mudokons follow you, you can have as many Mudokons follow you at once, which is also a really good feature to have. So is Abe's Exodus in my opinion is the best in the series, but the reason why it's not my favorite is just like I would say that, you know, Abe's Exodus is like Abe's like what made Abe's Odyssey in my opinion so much more captivating is that he's a reluctant hero, like he's just this average Joe who's put in this difficult, like, this harrowing situation. He has to somehow overcome the odds. In this game, he's essentially the savior of his people and he's expected to do all this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, he's already reached godly
Like
status.
like he's basically the, messiah of his people, hence the name Abe. Like, there's a
He's
lot of
yeah, he's earned his glory at that
there's a
point.
lot of there's actually a lot of biblical references in that game, believe it or not. But anyway,
Of course.
um
Not surprised
but
by that at all.
no, but anyway, so I would say that Abe's Odyssey is a 9. Abe's Exodus is a 10, but it's still not my favorite. Um, and then here's what's in it. So when Munch's Odyssey was first announced, like I was just over the moon, like, oh my goodness. Like when I saw like,
I still haven't
Oddworld,
finished that.
Odd, Oddworld in 3D, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. Oh my goodness. So I actually got an Xbox just for that game. All the other kids got Xbox for Halo. I got it for Munch's Odyssey.
Yeah.
So here's the deal with Munch's Odyssey. When I played it as a kid, I loved every second of it. I'm just like, oh my god, this is so cool. But it's so weird. It's like as an adult, I noticed all of its. When I replayed it as an adult, I noticed it does have quite a bit of shortcomings. Its pacing isn't the best. Its gameplay is a little like the transfer from 2D to 3D is a little awkward.
I reached a point in that game where I just am like, it's really kind of a slog to get through.
It can be a bit of a slog to get through. Um, but here's the
I
thing.
don't
So
dislike it. I just, yeah, there's parts of it.
here's the thing. In terms of gameplay, it's definitely the weakest. In terms of the world and creatures that inhabit it, it still has that oddworld flair. It's
Yeah.
like it's basically all the ingredients are here. They just weren't cooked to perfection.
Yeah. No,
Like the the,
I
the,
feel
the
you.
cutscenes are phenomenal. The cutscenes still blow my mind to this day. The cutscenes look great. So anyway, so Munch's Odyssey, I liked it as a kid. I've reassessed it as an adult. It's definitely at the time it was definitely the weakest in the series. And then Stranger's Wrath comes along, and like Stranger's Wrath,
Stranger's Wrath is awesome.
yeah, Stranger's Wrath, like they basically they saw that Munch's Odyssey just didn't really it just wasn't the big hit that they wanted it to be, so they decided to go for something a little more approachable, like something a little more
It's way more approachable. Yeah,
yeah
I think that's the first one I finished.
yeah, like they wanted to do something with a little more mainstream appeal. So yeah, like, and this was like just like when shooters were really starting to blow up. Like this was like the mid to early 2000s. Halo, uh, Doom, all those games. So no, like Stranger's Wrath, they I really feel like they nicked out all the kinks with it, and they actually delivered a game that looked good, played pretty smoothly. I mean, the whole one thing I would change if I could
Yeah.
is that like when you like go from like third person to first person, what I would do, I would still have it be third, kind of like how when like in Uncharted,
Oh,
I
we
would.
got 15 seconds, bro.
All right, well in that case, 9, 10, 6, 8, 3. Soulstorm sucks.
All right, guys. Till next time.